How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the first ever Impact Summit. I am honored to be doing the first panel with an star-studded cast to my left side here. I'm going to go ahead and introduce everybody. Danny Floyd, the Chief Product Officer over there. He started his gaming journey 22 years ago on Earth and Beyond. And from there, he worked at EA and then was the art director for Splitgate. Now working as the Chief Product Officer at Star Atlas. His vision is Star Atlas. He's the man with the plan. Next in line, we have Gary Sanchez. He is the Vehicle Art Director, and he worked at Cloud Imperium Games on Star Citizen, has also worked at Ubisoft and Apple Games. Moving down the line here, we have Martin Orlowski. He is the Animation Rigging Director, and he has worked on big blockbuster films like Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy, Planet of the Apes, and Avatar. And he also has some really, really cool experience with stop motion animation and has worked at Sony Entertainment. So a lot of experience there. And to round it out, last but not least, we have my main man, Chip Zarita, and he is our Game Systems Director, and he has worked on spacecraft and ground systems at the U.S. Department of Defense. So, like I said, we have a star-studded cast. I have a good round of questions here that I'm excited to get into. And I'm gonna start it off spicy. You know, first panel, first question. We're gonna start it off with something spicy here. You know, Web3 gaming. When you think of Web3 gaming, for some people, it leaves a sour taste in their mouth. And to be honest, for not the worst reason. And we're trying to be the complete opposite of that. We want to be a good actor in the space. So my first question for this panel is, what are we doing to bring legitimacy to Web3 gaming through Star Atlas? Chip, you want to start us off?
Sure. We have a lot of different departments on the product side represented here. Me personally, I'm representing the gameplay side, game systems. And for me, it's gameplay. Web3, the innovation that Web3 brings with on-chain asset ownership, composability, extensibility, none of that matters unless the game's fun. So gameplay, day in, day out, that's what I focus on.
I'm the same, yeah, same with Chip. So yeah, a lot of studios, a lot of projects out there are really focused on Web3 gaming, and they kind of, to me, they looking at it from a different, wrong angle. They just so focus on the Web3 that they forget about the fun that the gamers expect from the experience. And I think we're doing this right, building block by block, a big, massive gaming experience, massive universe that's hopefully going to be super fun to play with, and that's our main focus, yeah.
Quality and fun to play, I love it. Gary, what about you, man?
And me, it's on vehicle side, it's more about it's like the other game, in fact. It's trying to make the best in terms of immersivity for the graphics and the visual, and to have the ship the more realistic as possible. So there is no particularity, just exploiting as the most as possible the Unreal Engine 5 and the potential of the motor to make the Web3 good.
Mm-hmm. So. Danny, moving on to you here. What do you think here with this question?
Yeah, with legitimacy, I think a big part of that is legit people, like people who've done things before in this industry. What if I can go back to like 2009 and we were looking at like iOS apps, my brother and me, we started a little development startup. And back then, if you were to go on the App Store and everything just kind of looked like, you know, rush stuff just to put it out there, shovelware a little bit. And and it's because it was like a new frontier, right? A lot of people were still like building console games or building PC games. And then all of a sudden we have this untapped, massive mobile platform that people haven't really migrated over to yet. And when we first looked into blockchain gaming, it was kind of a similar landscape. You could see kind of some shovelware, you know, some stuff that a lot of improvement, you know, had room for a lot of improvement. And so what we did in both cases, actually, back then, we came out with apps that were just as high quality as we can. You know, you just come out, like you could put a drop shadow on an icon and blow up back then on an iPhone. But we didn't do that. We went full on. We went the best possible art you could do, great UI UX. We even went and like took our own photos, like on location stuff to make our first app really cool. And it blew up, you know, so we saw a similar thing with blockchain gaming where it's like still early, people are unsure about this tech, but there's a massive untapped market of really interesting things you can do. And you look at mobile and like everything's on mobile now, everything's done, you know, it's like your everything device. So with blockchain, it's kind of similar, where a lot of things are converting over to this tech, but people don't really necessarily understand the full potential of it. So what we do is we come in and we legitimize the tech by showing like what I think is the perfect use case is Star Atlas. And we brought in the best people who have done this before, and we didn't just say, hey, let's make something and get it out and hope it succeeds. We went, nah, we're gonna go full out with every single aspect, every department, get the best people, the best heads of every department, and just really go take the tech to extreme, take the art to the extreme, take the gameplay to the extreme and fun, and have a blast while we're doing it and show how it could be done. And so that I think is bringing a lot of legitimacy to the tech. It's not even necessarily putting the tech front and center. It's about hoisting it and giving it a platform for that tech to really, you know, shine. And that's my answer.
I love that answer. I love that answer. The right people, the right vision at the highest quality possible. I love that answer. Thank you, Danny.
I think there's one more component, longevity of the project. Like we've been here doing this for so long. I think nothing confirms, you know, legitimacy as like being in it for a long time.
That's true too. I mean, we've been here since 2021, and then a lot of projects in crypto. You know, everybody makes a joke. You've been here for 3 years. You've been here for like a decade. You know, so yeah, I completely agree. We've been here for a very, very long time, and we plan on being here for the foreseeable future, building this incredible vision that we all set out to do. So, yeah, great answers, guys. I kind of want to move on to the next question, pretty related to what you were talking about, Danny, with quality and how important that is. You guys are quality. When we think about Star Atlas, in your guys' respective fields in Star Atlas, you guys maintain quality and make sure that the quality is persistent throughout the game in your field. So I wanna kind of go into that and how do you guys measure quality? How does that work? Chip, I'd like to start with you.
Sure. So from the gameplay perspective, the thing I look at, and an easy way to measure it is playtesting. So when I'm watching playtesters, high quality gameplay is when your playtesters enter that flow state. All of you know it, when you lose track of time, you're having so much fun. And the way you get into the flow state is when you have the right balance of challenge and reward. So we look for that to have high quality gameplay. We also look at responsive and intuitive controls. So if your playtester gets down, you shouldn't have to explain to them how to play your game. It should explain itself. That's really important. So again, the flow state, intuitive, responsive controls for quality gameplay.
Love that. Martin, with animation, rigging, and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of intricacies that go into that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, it kind of naturally flows from Chip's answer to the flow state. A big part of the flow state is also how connected you stay with your character, and that's no matter whether it's a game, whether it's a movie, you want to have this emotional connection to the character. You want to feel like you're the character you build, you crafted, or purchased, or acquired. And that's done a lot through animation as well. So the best quality bar, the best quality kind of approval is when you feel that you're the character that you're playing with, whether it's a character. And by the character, I don't mean just the species that we have, in a game. It's also vehicles. Like as soon as you hop on a vehicle, you're becoming either the vehicle or the character still that's riding the bike, and etc. So as long as you feel like you're in the game yourself, then we've done a good job here.
Love that. Love that. He talked a little bit about vehicles, Gary. This is a perfect segue to you.
Yes.
Vehicles are a huge part of Star Atlas. That is, when you're playing Star Atlas, there's a very, very big likelihood you're going to be interacting with the vehicle. So can you talk a little bit about quality with vehicles and the spaceships?
Yes, there is different aspect of it. So the aesthetics, for sure. When we created the brand, and the different manufacturer will try to make it as immersive as possible, like a real car design brand, but with spaceship. So we try to make something really qualitative in terms of art direction there, where each ship brand has its own identity and specificity. So it's through split line, materials, and many aspects of the weapon and etc. There is also the functionality, so it's integrating all the gameplay system done by ship also in our ship and make sure that it works well. So it's like all the specification for interior especially, which are big constraint, and also the landing gear, which is a part people don't see in vehicle, but it's quite tricky and big work behind. For sure, the animation of the ship to make looks alive, functional and working. And there is also the performance. I'm help on there with Sean Davis also for Unreal Engine 5 performance. So to make sure also that the quality is working also in the game with the best FPS extra. So yeah.
Oh, I love that answer, Gary. Danny, moving on to you. You oversee the whole operation, so quality, I think you have a lot to say here, so I'm interested to get your thoughts.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to say. The first thing, obviously, is I lean on these guys to take care of their departments, to really push the quality, and the most important thing from my perspective is to give them as much time and resources as possible to really polish and build the tech that they need. And so a lot of the things behind the scenes, and me fighting to make sure that we extend the time so we can, see through the potential quality that we can reach. But overall, I come from a traditional art background too. I went to school as an art major in school. And I remember in my drawing class, my teacher, professor, artist, when he would review the drawings from the students, he would just go like it's just really fast, like, and he could, and when you're processing something that fast, it's because you've trained in it for so long that it starts to become like not just second nature, but then you train further and it becomes your nature. Now you're literally just emotionally reacting to things you see like immediately, which is faster than sitting there and analyzing things, because there's the 7 design principles, right? There's balance, there's proportion, repetition. I'm not going to be ChatGPT right now, but you forget those over time and they become second nature. You start, okay, now I've done the exercises, I've done the training. And then it gets to the point where it's literally just like I get physically ill if something is like off, right? If it doesn't have the quality bar. I'm like, oh.
We had a play test several weeks ago, and Danny was like, "I'm getting nauseous," and it was because the environment was in blockout phase. It wasn't polished yet, and Danny was like, "Yeah, it's really funny."
My eyes are like scanning all this stuff that's unfinished, and it's like, okay, I made it through one match. I need to take a break. But we went and played it back when it was like really polished, and I was just loving it. Right, it was chill. So that making, because I'm basically, we had John Berube as art director for a while. We had to downscale, so I took over art director for the whole team, and I'm game director. I'm also like, storyteller basically.
You do it all.
And so I have to process and context switch all the time for all these different styles of art. But you as an artist, you don't really like necessarily specialize. You understand quality no matter what medium it is, and then you can apply that to a lot of different things. And one of the main things I do, especially with video games, is does it look like CG? And if it does, then it's bad, because machines are good at making more machines. So for like hard surface stuff or like inorganic materials. But when you want to bring something to life, like characters or how characters interact with machines and how those machines move around, you have to transcend that, and you have to really work at getting this machine to make something look believable and realistic and immersive. Because once you see something glitch out or things clip through each other, now you're breaking the immersion for people who are trusting you to set you up in a nice immersive IP and the world building that you've done, all this work that you've done, and you see one little thing that goes off, like a coffee cup on the table of Daenerys' set that appears in the show. Now you break the immersion that so many people on the production side are working to maintain integrity. So yeah, that is a large part of it. Is just making sure things don't look like CG or don't just look like they were just processed and at the minimum viable to push it. And we talk about these things, especially like with Martin and Gary. We go into like such detail on the types of secondary effects that we can do. Like even in the hangar, we want it to be like, there's a character sitting on one of the vehicles, and then you move it, and it kind of like reacts to it. Things break here and there, but that's the intent. We want these little moments that go beyond and just here's your ship. Just look at your ship. We want to. The point is to have. It's not so much that okay, the ship is really cool because it does this. It's how we interact with a piece of machinery as a character that gives us the reward. And so it always comes back to that and understanding that human interaction. So I can keep rambling.
Yeah, we have some other questions
yeah,
here,
I see the
but
time
I'm sure
ticking.
people love that answer, Danny. So, I mean, when people talk about Star Atlas, one of the first things they always bring up is the quality of Star Atlas, the graphics of Star Atlas, or how good it looks, like things like that. So your guys' work directly contributes to that. So you can definitely tell that a lot of care goes into the things that you guys do, and it means a world of difference to everyone playing the game or looking at it or watching the trailers or whatever it is. So you guys are doing excellent there. Anyways, sorry, Martin.
Since like CG and things looking CG. Was mentioned like that domain was kind of like used to be a domain for films where we would look at things like that cannot look like a CG character because it stands next to an actor, for example, it's a creature or a vehicle, and we live in exciting times, and we're building this game in exciting times where the technology enables us to basically do things that we used to be doing only for movies, but now we can do it in games, which is just exciting. Yeah.
Very exciting. I want to get a little bit more personal here. What attracted you to Star Atlas? I want to start with you, Chip. And we have like 7 minutes left, so I want to go quickly here. We have 2 more personal questions, but yeah, what attracted you to Star Atlas?
Yeah, this one's really easy for me because Star Atlas unironically combines the 3 things that I love growing up. So the first one, space. I mean, I built model rockets and actually some high-powered rockets in high school. I went on to undergrad. I studied astronautical engineering. Grad school, I did orbital dynamics and rocketry. I'm a space nerd. So I love space. I've been a lifelong gamer as well. I mean, I played old school RuneScape, and I still play RuneScape 3 to this day. I'm a RuneScape nerd, lifelong player here. So I love gaming. I mean, I played games all my life. And then the last thing is crypto. I started in crypto back with the original Ethereum DAO. That's how I got into crypto. I mean, I moved on. I'm now a Solana maxi, but I've been in crypto for the longest time. So Star Atlas embodies those 3 things that I really enjoy: space, gaming, and crypto.
Love that. Martin, what about you?
I really remember our call with Danny like 3 years ago when he introduced me to Star Atlas. And they didn't know what to expect because they didn't hear much about it. It was still early days, and then he basically expanded all his vision on the vision of the project, and I was sold like immediately over the call. I was working on big production actually at the time, and I decided, yeah, this is the moment where we switch to building immersive experiences that can be very close to match the film quality, and yeah, I was sold immediately. And yeah, and space has always been my thing as well. So, and yeah, building a character or that we let go of and enable other players to interact with it it's a new experience for a filmmaker, because usually you would work with a character or a creature and would just decide what it's doing and exactly to the point of frame by frame and then let everyone watch it. Versus now you kind of like release this thing and people can interact with it and have some fun and live their life on its own. Yeah, very exciting.
If you're in this room, are you not a space nerd? I feel like everyone's a space nerd here. Gary, what about you?
Yeah, I think I have a spaceship in my head since a child, so it was the opportunity, I think, to express all the creative things I was not able to express even in the heavy industry where I get the chance to work on, like automotive industry, which is cool too, but I think it was the perfect project to express all the things also in my head, I have in my head with this project, and also with Unreal Engine 5 quality. So and also because it was at the start of the project to try to make the foundation of all this spaceship brand, and also it was really like not the white card or the total white page, but it's I will say a big freedom and big possibility of creation, and also building a universe at the start. It's something awesome to me. And the title also, I need to say it's personal, but I think my parents offers me Star Atlas in 3D when I was younger, and so it speaks to me directly like this.
And Danny, this is a particularly unique question because you weren't really attracted to Star Atlas. You created Star Atlas. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a different kind of experience because, or perspective because I guess I sometimes joke that, Star Atlas wants to exist and we're just helping it kind of to exist. And so in a way that's kind of like me being attracted to it. But I guess some background there is I had recently been playing another Star game that was like almost every day for like an hour, playing this other game that I was just kind of obsessive about. For some reason, I was just really obsessive about every single bit of content, every single ship, every single detail, every single location. I just like was looking at it and observing it like obsessively, and I had no idea why, but it was really cool, and I thought it was a very impressive thing. At the same time, Red Dead Redemption 2, hitting that quality bar in a game that's like that, and that immersive world and the way you interact with it and the stories that can be told, and these things kind of coming together. All the tech at the time, like we had. Probably get more into this on the founders discussion, but sort of the blockchain tech that we've been in for, at the time, seemed like a decade or close to a decade. And Unreal Engine 5 just got announced, so it's like all these things that were coming together and Solana on top of that. So everything just like made sense after doing all the research, and yeah, it just, one thing after another just kept flowing. It's like as we're developing the idea, it's like, that's perfect, that's perfect. What if we had this? That's perfect. It just kept adding up and enriching the IP and the idea. And Martin says that he was sold, and I could say the same pitch to somebody else, and they completely won't know what I'm talking about. But there are people who you give them the elevator pitch, like yourself, and everyone up here, and they just get it. It's just like light goes off, and now you're infected with the Star Atlas bug, and we all want to see it be built, right? So.
Exactly. Like once you hear about Star Atlas, if you do get it, it's like I remember when I first found Star Atlas because I started as a community member. I was obsessed. Like 12 hours a day, I would watch all of Michael Wagner's interviews, and I would watch all the interviews that I could possibly watch, all the content. I'd be in Discord asking all sorts of questions. So yeah, there's definitely that obsessive bug that you get if you get it. So I definitely get that.